Alright, welcome back. So we just added here our co-caster scene. If you never plan on having a co-caster, you can just skip that, right? You don't need to do this. If you plan on having co-caster, sometimes this might be useful. But what we're gonna talk about today is a standings scene. So that is a scene which you can display before you go into your first draft, for example, and you can just use that to explain to your viewers what's at stake for both of the teams, like where are they standing right now in the league, and what would a win or a domination imply for their standing. So that's always a fun little thing to look at in the beginning, and create some story, some narrative, some hype for the match, which is going to happen pretty soon. So let's have a look first into our OBS sources. And if you go here and look into the files we have available, there is tournament standings.html down here. All right, this is the source we're gonna use, and because that is some source we're gonna sit on for a while, we're gonna have it in its own scene. So let's call this standings. We're gonna put it between pregame and map draft, because that's the most likely appearance, or that's the order in which we go through. We will have a pregame discussion, then we're gonna go to the standings, we're gonna talk about the map draft, we go into the draft and so on. So in the standings we're gonna add a browser source, of course. Call them standings overlay. It's a local file, so let's just grab tournament standings. Let's go 1920, 1080. This is my screen resolution as usual. Refresh browser when scene becomes active, and hits OK. And then you see we already see some things popping up here. The reason is because I have currently a game loaded in Soothsayer. We're gonna have a quick look at this, how this actually gets populated on Soothsayer later. So we are not done here yet. You need to add your audio source, of course, because otherwise people will not hear you. So let's put the scene source for audio. So now they can hear you in the scene, right? Remember, this is not capturing any of your game sound. This is what we want. You can move that down. You might want to have your tournament logo somewhere here. So let's add another scene tournament logo, and let's activate this for a short while so that you can see where this is gonna be placed. If you go to standings, so this is a little bit large, of course. Actually, we can do this better, I think. Let's get rid of this. Let's go to our pregame scene and grab our tournament logo from here. Select copy, go to standings, and paste this reference. And now we have it all cropped and placed as we would like to have before. So now if you're going from pregame to standings, that will be at the same place. That's always nice. Okay. What else are we gonna need here? Let me have a quick peek on my notes. I think we are good. Okay, so now in some situations you will not look at the standings in a table like this, but instead you are casting playoffs, and you will have a bracket instead. So this is where this other scene comes into place. We have a source. So let's go here and add a bracket overlay. It's a local file, and it's just tournament bracket.html. 1920, 1080, refresh, and this looks something like that. So currently it's not showing anything because there is no bracket, right? But if you have a bracket, Soothsayer will recognize that, and you will see here this is gonna be populated with a bracket instead. So because this is something we're gonna use much less often than the standings overlay, we're gonna put it behind the standings overlay, and only if we need the bracket, we're gonna just make the standings overlay invisible, and we will be seeing the bracket overlay. All right. Okay. So now with all our sources in place, let's see how Soothsayer works with this. And for this, I bring this over here really quick. We go into Operate, and then we go to Tournament. And let me full screen this really quick. So you see here is all the information which is being actually displayed in our OBS. And there are some extra options you can do here. So first of all, you can update these to your liking if you want to change. So all of this is preloaded right now, but you could update this manually. And the things I really want to draw attention to is this magnifying glass over here and these stars. So it makes sense if you have, for example, I don't know which game we're running here. Let's go to the game scene really quick. So here we would have Kingfishers against the A team. So if Kingfishers versus the A team is playing, then in the standings, the Kingfishers line and the A team line is the most interesting, right? So what you would do is you go into Soothsayer, and before you even start your stream, you just select the star here on the A team, and you select the star on the Kingfishers, and it will highlight this in Soothsayer. If you hit Update, it will now also highlight these standings in here, so you have an easier time talking about it, and your viewers will immediately know which teams are facing off against each other. So now, what is the magnifying glass for? For that, let me go back into Soothsayer. I'm gonna go to Settings, and I'm gonna choose a division with more teams. I don't know which division has a lot of teams right now, but usually it's the east side which has more teams. So if I go here to round 3, I don't know, I just select whatever match. I load this. Okay. It takes a little bit. But here we are. So now everything is loaded. We go back to Operate. See, like all of this had been updated. If we go back here, we see now there's more teams in here, and it currently shows 12. And there are 13. If you look here, there's more of them. All right. So where did the 13th team go? Well, it's just not displaying because it does not fit. All right. It would be looking awkward. So what if you need to have the 13th team actually be on the screen? This is where the magnifying glass comes into play. So if you select that and you hit Update, then now it will focus this table such that this team at minimum will be showing. Right, there will still more of them are showing, but it makes sure that this team is being shown, and instead now the first team is not on this table. So it's just selecting which team needs to be in focus. Okay, and then you, as usual, I don't know, who are we playing here? We are playing Almost Legends Ruby versus We Have Taken You. So you would go into Tournament, we go to We Have Taken You, select that one, and what was the other one? Almost Legends Ruby. So you would select that one, and as you can select more than 2 if there is like some narrative and that makes sense. You can select more and highlight them all, and that's totally fine. But for now, let's just make sure that we unselect these, make sure that our first place is in here. And you can also delete some lines, like if there's like nothing important happening here in the middle, right? You can just say, okay, I don't want to show like place 5, 6, and 7 for whatever reason, so but I can see how many more teams are here coming at the bottom. So I just select some of them, hit the trash can, and update, and now you can see, okay, like here are the top 3, and then there's like some stuff in the middle we don't care about. Here's we have taken you at the bottom, 11, 12, and 13. These are the last teams of the league, of the division. Okay, so this is how the standings work. We can quickly check if I have a quick way of getting the brackets here, but I don't think there's anything running with a bracket right now. But we can still, I think we can still go there. So let's go to operate and just set a bracket. So as usual, you don't have to use the data import feature of Soothsayer. If you are in a specific league which is a little bit smaller than NGS or Heroes Launch, then you actually might have to do this manually yourself because they are not providing you this feature. So let's say we are just creating here now some bracket, so you can put these things in. You can also just type them yourself, I'm pretty sure, or maybe not. So here we are with 6 teams. Assume we have already played some of these. What is this? Okay, here we go. So maybe this was a 2-1. And over here we have Protectors of Ivor have won 2-0. And now the finals are over here. For whatever reason, these guys did not really make it into the finals, even though they won. So let's go update. And now if you go into the bracket, you can see all of that being displayed here. Alright, currently like this makes no sense here, obviously, but you get the idea. And then you can even put in the winner at the end. So this is how the bracket works, and how you would manually put stuff in here. If you do not have a data loader, I'm very sure you can override this and just type something yourself instead. And you can erase the bracket and everything will reset. Okay, so this is how the standing screen work. It's something you might consider putting into your cast. It's a good talking point at the beginning. You know, when the teams they are coming into the lobby and you have some time to fill. I think this is a great way to create some hype about your match and fill the time at the same. So let's move on to the next episode. I hope you join me for pre-live and post-live scenes.